What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a Chi-Town Blitz episode. Got a great episode for you guys today. A lot to talk about, a lot to break down, a lot of things to get into. One of the biggest topics so far. I've seen people in the comments be mad at people talking about this, like, "Hey, let's talk about the other 251 players in the NFL draft." But you know who we're going to talk about? Primetime Sanders, his son, Shador Sanders. Prank phone call. What were your thoughts on the whole Shador Sanders situation?
Man, it's a lot to unpack. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the bravado he's shown. I get both arguments. You know, from one perspective, you see, oh, they hate a free black man.
They hate somebody that you can't tell what to do and shit.
Right. And then you got the other argument. Oh, he's arrogant. He's not even that good. He's not his dad. That's not the way a quarterback should conduct himself. He blames his teammates, all this, yada, yada, yada. And I think at the end of the day, it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, he's a multimillionaire because of NIL. So where he gets drafted doesn't really matter. I think it's a good, humbling experience for him just to know, like, hey, at the end of the day, you got to conduct yourself a certain way if you want something from people who don't need you.
Oh yeah,
and the
100%.
NFL doesn't need them. So
100%. You think it was a whole like thing where the NFL's like, all right, we finna humble, bro. We finna teach bro a lesson. All 32 teams got together.
Maybe not for everybody, but it was definitely that tone. It's a copycat league, so know, once a few people are like, I'm out, everybody else, kind of follows suit. So I'm surprised he fell that far, but I'm not surprised that he rubbed people the wrong way, especially and I'm not saying this is true, but if he was going into these interviews or not really taking the pro
doing the watch shit
or not interested in meeting with certain teams, and they're like, dude, I know the media thinks you're a clear-cut top 10 pick, but we don't.
Yeah.
So I could see why teams could be rubbed the wrong way.
Yeah,
and,
100%.
It's the NFL. It's football. Ain't no fucking HR. Ain't nobody.
Nobody's controlling what they doing. Yeah.
Right.
They can do whatever the fuck
the
they
owner
want.
and these coaches, they can curse you out. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
I mean, Urban Meyer, remember what he was doing to the motherfuckers in Jacksonville?
Yeah, so there's no guardrails on this sport or this industry. So it's not like you going in for a regular job and expecting a certain type of treatment, where this is 100% a privilege, and there's a lot of bias at play. So a lot of people don't like Deion Sanders. A lot of people, he's a polarizing figure, and so is his son. So people are gonna base their decisions accordingly.
The crazy thing is, though, I don't think he should have went 5th round. I think that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
His jersey already is the number one seller for rookies, among rookies right now coming into the league. So that's big news.
Might have to cop me one too. Shit.
I've seen some people like, hey, we're not buying Shador Sanders jersey. We're not supporting what happened to him and stuff. I'm like, all right.
What?
Yeah, I've seen people say that. And I'm like, I don't think that makes sense.
You do know he gets a cut of his jersey
Exactly.
price.
I don't think that makes sense. So I'd probably cop me a jersey. I think he has a good opportunity. I'm glad he ended up in Cleveland regardless of the situation, because he can at least start and get out there. And he's going to bring a lot of attention. And for these owners, it looked like the owner was like, y'all better draft his ass. Y'all better take bro. Because you've seen how the coach and the owner, the coach and the GM were acting when they were taking that selection. They're like, clap, and nobody's high-fiving each other. It's not like when in reality you're getting a guy that could potentially be your franchise quarterback in the 5th round. I'd be dancing. I'd be breakdancing in the break room, because that's a huge steal. So I think in Cleveland, it's a good spot for him. The offense is great spot because the offense is very similar to what he did at Colorado, because Pat Shurmur was his OC over there, and that's a guy that was the OC in Minnesota when Stefanski was a quarterback's coach in Minnesota. So their offense is very similar. Think Joe Flacco. You think he'd be a good mentor for Shador? Because what's his name?
He's not a mobile quarterback. Very similar games, plays on time.
Because he was treating
I think
Lamar.
It would be perfect.
I don't know if he was I gotta do my research on this, but I don't know how great of a mentor he was for Lamar when Lamar came in and took his spot.
Well,
but that might have been a
wants
different
to
time.
Be a mentor for a nigga that's replacing him. They might do it, but they might not. They definitely damn sure don't want to.
Yeah, he's in a different point of his career now with him being 39 years old, coming off the couch again. But let's get into some Chicago Bears talk. Let's talk about our team, the team that's the home team for us. What grade do you give this draft class?
Man, it was very interesting. I would give it a B+. I feel like we waited a little late to get a running back, even though I'm pleased with the value we got at the pick. But definitely a good draft for Ben Johnson year one.
Oh yeah, and the thing is with Eberflus in the mix, I didn't see a lot of picks that were like, oh, this is Eberflus's guy. You know, I didn't see a lot of never really. Eberflus really didn't have that much control. Whereas you look at this draft class, all right, you're like, this pick makes sense. You know, news are coming out about Loveland. His comp coming out of college, Laporta. You know what I mean? Even with, some of these offensive linemen, the versatility, like the moves that they're going to get, the moves that they're making, the moves they made in free agency, it's heavily based off the fact that these are Ben Johnson selections. These are guys that Ben Johnson wants to work with. So I love that Ben Johnson has that has all that, has the control and a good amount of power with these selections. Definitely Ryan Poles needs that shit.
Man, so yeah.
What is, we go back and forth. The third round is a terrible fucking round for Ryan Poles. And
luckily we didn't have any third round picks. So we just had to get that out of the way.
Maybe that's the thing that saves Ryan Poles is no draft picks in the third round.
Right.
But I'm really excited about the two playmakers to headline this draft class. Loveland, big wideout, big receiver. Comparisons also to Kelsey as a receiving threat. Ran a 4.5, 40-yard dash, fluid, great route runner. He has more upside than Warren as a route runner. Younger, 21 years old too. So I'm excited about what he could provide this offense. Luther Burden, man. They saying this is the second best receiver in the draft class, other than Tet. And this is a guy, sophomore year, 1,200 yards receiving at Mizzou. Last season, the Missouri offense was as bad as the Chicago Bears offense. It wasn't productive.
Right.
It wasn't a good offense. So now it's great to see us add more playmakers. The question is, last year we added a lot of playmakers. Why will this season be different with, guys like Loveland and Burden, in your opinion?
Oh, I think it'll be night and day just because
the offensive mind.
Yeah, where we went from a Honda at offensive coordinator with 100,000 miles to a Bugatti 2026.
Nah, Eberflus. Hey, who is our OC? Who is Waldron? What kind of car he is?
I said a Honda with 100,000 miles and 4 owners. That nigga trash. 4 owners in 4 years.
Yeah. And Ben Johnson, one of the most creative minds, one of the best coaches offensively in the NFL.
Brilliant.
He put 50 points, 70 points on teams' heads the last couple seasons. So him getting guys like Burden, Loveland, Yak Monsters, I'm excited. This offense is going to be crazy. And not bringing a guy back like Keenan Allen obviously gives Rome Odunze more leeway to, show out and show, pop his shit, I think this offense is definitely going to be different than last year. The weapons are there as there was last year, but the offensive mind is better. The offensive line is better. I think, this is going to be a top offense in the NFL. I'm really excited about what we're going to do this year. Were you upset that we didn't take a running back early?
Yeah, I was a little confused by that decision just because there was a lot of guys that you could have went up and got, especially when you decide to get a linebacker in the 4th, which I don't dislike.
He fast as shit. That's his
right.
best strong suit.
You also went corner in the 5th, so I feel like a running back could have been a situation we got there, but the guys we got, I'm really pleased with. Even, Luke Neiman, who is, could play, interior and maybe be a replacement down the line for some of our older vets up front. So
He's played every position on the offensive line, which I like about that. He was really good at Holy Cross at left tackle. That he primarily played left tackle, and then left guard, center, right guard, all those positions at Michigan State. So I'm excited about him as well. Great prospect, Newman from Seinfeld. You watch Seinfeld or no?
no.
Damn.
Come on, man.
All the old heads checking out this pod gonna remember that specifically. But I also like the defensive lineman Shamar Turner. Yes. That dude, he's a monster, but
explosive.
He's another nutcase, another head case, bro. There's a clip of him just nutshotting Captain Insano somebody.
Damn. You might have to send me that.
Yeah. It's just him after the play, just, straight uppercutting somebody's groin and pelvic area. So, you
need some nuts on the defensive line.
You do need some crazy motherfuckers on the defensive line. So I'm excited about, what he can bring. He primarily, somebody he modeled his game after is Grady Jarrett, our defensive tackle right now. So that's great that he has him to mentor him. He's somebody that's played all 5 defensive lineman positions on the defensive line, nose tackle, both defensive tackle positions, both defensive end positions, in 200 snaps last year. One of 5 defensive linemen to do that. So I'm excited about him. 6 sacks he had in 2023 at defensive tackle. Last year he played the whole season with a stress fracture. So this is somebody that could be a huge boost for us. And you look at this defensive line, it's gotten a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But guys like Zach Pickens, they on their way out. Yeah. Zach Pickens going to get his ass cut.
For sure. That's another polls miss.
In the 3rd round, probably, no?
Shit.
I forgot where he got drafted.
I think he might have been the 4th.
Yeah.
South Carolina, right?
Yeah, he's from South Carolina. I'm excited about, Shamar Turner. Really like what he could provide. The linebacker. There are some picks that I was like, could we have went in a different direction? But you do some more digging. You do some more research. I mean, you look at Detroit Lions, their draft class that year with, where they took Gibbs early as fuck when he was projected to be a 2nd, 3rd round pick. They took him top 10. So sometimes you just got to trust the guys in the building. You got to trust that they're bringing in the right guys. And shit, if you got the right coaches, they could turn shit to Shinola, if you get the right coaches, they could develop guys. And really, that's what we look at in the draft. We look at players that, people weren't that high on that turned out to be really gems because they were in a great environment, a great situation. So hopefully that's the case with us. What are your thoughts on Darnell Wright potentially being the left tackle now?
Is there credence to that rumor?
So Ozzie Trapillo is the guy we got from Boston.
Yeah.
Boston College.
Yeah.
6'8", really good technician, great tackle, pro-ready tackle. That's what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
He primarily played right tackle. He could play both positions, but he's primarily best suited for the right tackle position. And Darnell Wright, we saw Ben Johnson say he could be Penei Sewell for the Bears. They can move him to left tackle. They have belief that he can play left tackle, and I'm seeing a lot of people. Adam Hogue, I don't know if you watch his shit, but he said he wouldn't be surprised if Ozzie starts at right tackle and Darnell Wright is left tackle day 1.
Wow.
That'd be interesting.
They have him listed as the starting right tackle on the depth chart on ESPN, if that means anything at this point. But, no, I'm not opposed to it. I got to see his arm length, but, 6'6", 333. Should be able to play left tackle.
Oh, yeah. I think Darnell Wright's phenomenal, too. With the new offensive line coach, I'm excited about what he can do for this group. And, Braxton Jones, could you imagine him as our swing tackle? That's a huge upgrade.
Yeah, that's probably where he should be
Yeah.
in a quality offense.
And you look at him, the reason why, he's a solid above average tackle, but
Yeah,
he be getting bullied sometimes.
right. He gets bull rushed a lot.
The bull rush, it gets his ass. That's one of the things he's, weak against.
Mm-hmm.
You put Ozzie on the right side, you put Darnell Wright on the left, and Darnell Wright, he's a bear. He's legit a bear. He's able to withstand some of that, take away the bull rush from opposing defensive ends, and that's somebody I'm really high on. I think that's somebody that can take that next jump this next season and be really good. The trust is there with him. The tape is great. Ben Johnson, all of them have raved about him. So that's somebody expect him to have a big year, and if he's a left tackle, we could be having a All-Pro, Pro Bowler left tackle this season. Who knows?
Hey, I'm not opposed to it, and we'd pretty much be set.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line wise.
Yeah. So we've been talking the last couple of days about, the running back position. DeAndre Swift, he could be looked at as a potential winner from this NFL draft. The Bears were in position to take a running back a couple times. Damian Martinez, some of these other guys, Devin Neal were on the board still, and they went another route. So in your opinion, how do you think Ben Johnson views DeAndre Swift? Because when Swift and Ben Johnson were together in Detroit, they traded Swift away.
Man, that's a good question. I feel like for the running back position, I just think they didn't value the position as a whole, and just had bigger needs to fill. So Swift, they did sign a pretty nice deal. This is his last year guaranteed. So.
Yeah, in the deal, which is it's a good contract setup how it is, because after the season you could just move on from him.
Right. So I'm interested to see what happens, but I think like many people think you can get value from the free agents, the late draft picks. I think Kyle Monaniji can bring that thumper mentality to the room, because Roshan Johnson, I just don't know what he brings to the table that's elite.
Yeah, Buddy, the running back from Rutgers, he's a poor man's Genty. You said, he's a thumper. He's gonna lay the wood. He's gonna put some dicks in the dirt. I'm hyped.
Pause.
I'm hyped about that. You watch his tape. He has pass. He's a great pass protector. He's laying the wood on some dudes, linebackers that are coming free. That he's going to be a huge asset for this Bears running back room. It's going to push Johnson in competition-wise, but the Bears not taking that dominant running back. Genty was favored into the Chicago Bears at one point. There was a lot of smoke about the Bears even potentially trading up to get Genty. So how do we not take a running back in the first 6 rounds when that was the rumors that we were going to take Genty and trade up for him? It's interesting.
Yeah, especially with how Detroit was set up when Ben Johnson was there. They had 2 A's at that position and really leaned heavily on that. But I think we do have an added variable at quarterback with Caleb Williams versus
his mobility.
Yeah, his mobility is through the roof. A lot of teams are going to have to deal with that versus with Goff. He's an island. He's a statue back there. So
he's not too much mobility from bro. And yeah, just that athletic ability with Caleb. It's going to be interesting to see how much he runs and how much we do, some quarterback run designs with him. I think this running back room could use another piece. But DeAndre Swift back on him in with the Eagles. He still had 1,300 yards this season with the Chicago Bears in total. But with the Eagles, 1,000-yard season, had a really good running season, but that's behind the Eagles' offensive line. The Bears now have a pretty decent offensive line. You take the ball anywhere, you could potentially get 5 yards a pop with some of the maulers we have up front now, and Ben Johnson creating and designing great run schemes. You think he could be a productive back this year? You think we could be good with just Swift?
Yeah, I think so because, he was close to 1,000 last year.
Like
obviously had 1,000 with Philly. So, I think it's just about him just being more decisive as a runner and just taking those first and second base hits and not always trying to hit the home run. Because if he can do that, we can be more sustainable at the position. Because there was times where he, was very decisive and lowered his shoulder when he needed to.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciated that. But you always fall in love with those home runs he's able to make where it looks like, there's nothing, and he just shoots out of there like a cannon.
Some of the most exciting plays.
Right, so we want to see that.
Yeah, against the Commanders, that touchdown run he had where he hurdled a dude. The Packers, that's great. Like, he's very good in the screen game, the home run hitter. Do you think Ben Johnson thinks there's some upside still with Roschon?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. But at the same time, they didn't invest in the position heavily, so
yeah.
Did they pick up any free agents? Do you know?
Not. There's some UDFA running backs, but nobody that's I don't think has a great shot to make the roster.
Gotcha.
In my opinion. But talking about free agents, Nick Chubb. It's time for the Chubb.
Whoa.
Bring his ass in for the minimum.
Yep.
Give his ass, that vet minimum. He's been squatting. He's been in the gym, 600 pounds on his back. Looks good in the workout videos. But, it's always funny falling over the hype, falling in on the hype of off-season workout videos. We do it time and time again. But
yep.
I think if anybody could come back from the injuries he sustained, it's Nick Chubb. Just the guy that's going to work hard. Just a different mind, different type of dude. Very quiet, but he's a grinder. And not too long ago, he was a top 5 back in the league, and he has that connection with DeAndre Swift. So there is a lot of smoke about him potentially being somebody that the Bears sign. Adding him into this running back room would move me a lot.
Yeah, I would be really impressed by that because he's got that superhuman strength. So he should be able to heal fast, even though he's had quite a few injuries and
gruesome too.
I mean, he's been in the league, what?
Yeah, I think he's going to be 30.
6 years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years now. So, I mean, we might get a season out of him, and then we can go get the guy we want in next year's draft. You never know.
He's a great professional, too. This is somebody that could lead our running back room.
But, I mean, it's going to get kind of crowded with a lot of average niggas. So, who are you taking out?
We got Ian Wheeler coming back too.
Yeah, I was gonna say you forgot about Buddy.
We still got that whatchamacallit, that stud coaching the running back room. What's her name?
I don't know if they brought her back.
But nah, for real, if you think about it, Nick Chubb is somebody I want fighting, the gorilla in the 100-man's versus gorilla. You seen that, Trent?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's somebody I need. He'll take down, bro. But Nick Chubb, I think he brings a lot to this running back room. The leadership, his ability to, tire defenses out and be that thunder to, DeAndre Swift's lightning. I think that would make a lot of sense. And I think we could get a season, like you said, out of him. And it wouldn't cost us that much. We don't have to bring him back the following year. He'd be a great mentor for the Rutgers running back we just drafted and the running back and Roschon Johnson. So that's a route I would go. What about J.K. Dobbins? He's always hurt, but he's younger. And 13 games last season, he had 950 yards rushing and 9 touchdowns. Really productive.
Yeah, I mean, I seen him play. He's
905 yards rushing, my fault.
He's not as explosive as I like him to be, and he's a little bit undersized as well. So
yeah, he's low-key short.
So I would prefer Nick Chubb if we gonna pick between the two.
Okay.
Even though he's close, he'll be 30 this year.
Oh, Nick Chubb, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying you would prefer the Chubb then?
Yeah, no question.
Glad to put that out there. So J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb, we talked about that. Let's get back onto our draft selections. 3 questions for you. Favorite draft selection?
Ooh.
Draft selection you hate?
Ooh.
Loads entirely.
Load.
Oh, my fault. Most important draft selection for the Bears' success. Give me those three for you.
Ooh,
We'll break it down.
that's a good one. I'm going to go Ozzy Trapilio is the most important just because we definitely need an upgrade at tackle, whether it's right or left.
Even just at the very least, competition.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to upgrade in performance. So I think he's going to be the most important. The one I like the most, I really like the Colston Loveland pick, especially with their running back we wanted off the board. I think he brings a unique dynamic, and just comparing him to the Penn State guy, I think he brings exactly what we need, a guy who can perform really well in the run and the pass. I think when you're comparing him against Buddy from Penn State, dude had a lot of wow plays, and they used him a lot of different ways, but that probably isn't translating to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a better athlete and more physical. So, and he played at a pro-style offense with Michigan, so
100%.
was very involved in the run game. So anytime we can be in 12 personnel all season, and still be able to pass efficiently as well as run the ball efficiently, that creates nightmares for the defense, because if you put 3 linebackers on the field, or 4 if you're in a 3-4, you're still in a mismatch because he's going to be a mismatch for any linebacker in the league.
Corners too, safeties.
If you go nickel, he's picking on any safety or corner. It's not going to be fair.
And he's got that speed too. Pick you hate.
Pick I hate. I don't hate any picks, honestly.
I'd probably say the linebacker one.
At first glance, I agree, but when I seen his 40, I'm like, okay, yeah, you can't speed kills, and you need, if you can run a 4.4 at linebacker, nigga.
TJ Yates in the draft, people, they was glazing the fuck out of him.
If you run a 4.4 at linebacker, nigga, I think we need to. He's definitely the replacement for
Sanborn, yeah.
Not even just Sanborn, but when what's the name's contract's up?
Tremaine?
Yep.
I was gonna ask you that too, because TJ Edwards got extended, Kyler Gordon got extended, Tremaine Edmonds didn't get extended. So this is a proven year for bro.
Yeah, Ruben he brings what you want. 4.4 guy. He's gonna perform well in the pass rush.
He's good in coverage too.
Coverage. So that's who you want.
I'm excited about him too, but that's the pick I'd probably say is probably the biggest reach, because, all right, hindsight, you're looking at everything and you're like, linebacker in the 4th round, he was projected to be an undrafted free agent too, but I like the more that I did some digging into him, I like the move.
Yeah,
but that's probably the one I would go with the most. I wasn't too high on the Ozzy one either at the beginning.
Why? I think his everything checks out on his end.
They say he looked like that one Bears reporter, Adam Johns.
Boston College guy, smart, big as fuck. His dad played in the league too, right?
Yeah. So I think can't go wrong with that. He's a pro-ready tackle, like I've said.
My biggest surprise would be us not investing in edge, but that kind of says like, hey, for what's dude name we picked up in the
Dio? There's a lot of trust. There's a lot of trust in him.
They're expecting a big year from him.
Austin Booker too, maybe.
I mean, they paid him like it. What? Austin Booker?
Yo ass hate Austin Booker, bro.
That nigga trash, bro. He's 245. What he about to play? They might as well move him to tight end.
Throw his ass at LB.
Bro, who is 245 rushing the passer?
And you look at Dio's size. Dio's a big ass dude.
He big as fuck, 286.
6 foot, what is he, 6? Damn. That's the type of defense. That's the type of defensive lineman Dennis Allen likes. So
exactly.
I think this is a interesting year for Booker. We'll see. Maybe he puts on some more weight. At least maybe 250, 260. 260 would be perfect size for him.
He's still young, don't get me wrong, but yeah, he needs the red shirt another year.
Yeah. We'll see how he does. He had 1.5 sacks last year, but that's somebody that's definitely could be on the outside looking in if they, things don't go good for them this year. I was surprised we didn't take an edge either. That was that was a selection, that was a player. I mean, that was a spot I thought we should have added a little more resources to, more talent to. But getting Shamar Turner kind of lessened that for me because he can play defensive end, he can play defensive tackle. So I'm hyped about that. With us not taking the defensive end though, I'm gonna give you 3 free agents. Which one of these would you want to sign? Von Miller, Matthew Judon, and Zadarius Smith. Which one of those 3? Which one of the unks you taking?
It's going to have to be Von Miller, Zadarius.
Dude, Von Miller's still nice. He's still
right. I like both of them, but I feel like Zadarius is bigger.
How big is Zadarius? Pause.
6'4".
I think he's got a big frame. Matthew Judon is a tank too. I think he's 2'6".
He was slow as shit. He looked slow as shit from Atlanta, and they wasted hella. What they trade for him? Third round pick,
I think. Pose was about to do that too. 4.73.
That's before the injury.
Zadarius Smith had 9 sacks last year, so that's the one I would want the most. That's a player I would want the most out of the 3, and he's the youngest, I believe, out of the 3. Or maybe him and Judon are both 32, but Von Miller's, he's unk for real. So, he's older.
And you're not going to have him for a few games.
Zadarius Smith, he's been doing rentals at every NFC North team, so I'd bring him. This is the last NFC North team he hasn't played for. I think he can make the biggest impact. He's good against the run. Like I said, 9 sacks last year. So the production isn't – you're not looking at production from 3 years ago with Judon where you're like, oh, yeah, he gave us 15 and a half sacks. Like, that was like 4 years ago. So –
I mean, what was Poles thinking with some of these draft picks? I'm looking at the roster like Austin Booker. Fuck is we doing?
He's got good –
at least he picked him in the 5th round.
Yeah. So I think – all right. Back on the draft selections.
Okay.
You didn't have a selection you hated. So you think the most important draft selection to the Bears' success would be who?
Ozzie, for sure.
Okay. And then which rookie will make the biggest impact year 1?
Year 1, it's got to be Colston Loveland. I think him or Luther got to make a big impact, especially in 12 and 11 personnel, respectively. So I like what both players brings, and I think they were the perfect piece for what we needed. Even going into the draft, we were like, we still need that number 3.
That slot receiver, that number 3, just another weapon.
You couldn't have gotten a better number 3, let's be clear.
Best player available type
People
of selection.
Are saying we got the best receiving core in the league.
And
behind who? Behind either Cincinnati or
probably Cincinnati.
Who else? The Eagles, maybe.
I like where our receivers are headed. The weapons we have, and they're all young as fuck too. Who do you think will have more yards, Loveland or Burden, year 1?
That's a tough question.
I think you're still gonna have to work through getting Cole Kmet still in the picture, getting him his touches and Loveland his touches, whereas Burden, I think you can give him carries. You can give him quick screens. That's somebody I need to get a couple screens because he is so dangerous with the ball in his hands, creative as fuck, yards after catch monster. They say he's like Deebo Samuel with speed, like a faster Deebo Samuel.
4.3 guy too.
Yeah, so I think he's going to make a big impact. I could see him touching 800 yards receiving in his first season. I did a video. Oh, well, I'm going to do a video about this soon, but he's somebody I could see, being in the Offensive Rookie of the Year competition.
Luther Bird?
Yes.
Damn. Now he's going to be on the field all the time.
Nah, Ben Johnson finna cook with his ass, bro. I think because this is somebody that you saw J-Mo take that next step and have 1,000 yards last season. The Bears got their J-Mo guy with Luther Burden. Luther Burden's going to take the top off the defense. He played in high school with J-Mo too, I think. Yep. And J-Mo, was saying to
East St. Louis.
J-Mo was saying to Ben Johnson, yeah, you got you one of those ones. So this is a guy, don't look at his production last season because the quarterback was ass. The offensive scheme was ass. And this is somebody that has returnability too. He can return punts. He can return, he can make impact in a lot of areas. So Luther Burden, that's probably the prospect. Going back to the questions, that's probably my favorite draft selection because I think the impact is going to be from day one. This is somebody that's going to make a lot of noise. Another comparison is DJ Moore. So getting another DJ Moore in the mix with Ben Johnson calling the plays and creating the schemes. So a bold take. Chicago Bears have 3 1,000-yard receivers. Rome,
damn,
DJ Moore, and Luther Burden.
What the 2 tight ends gonna rack up?
650 both sides.
Damn, these niggas, Caleb finna throw for 6,000. This bitch.
I'll look at the math later. But I think that's something I could see happening. And if it happens, I would not be surprised by it. Because you look at how Ben Johnson is one of the best coaches at getting receivers the ball, getting receivers easy yardage. So I expect to see Burden, get those easy looks, get those screen passes and stuff. That's a pick. That's my favorite selection. And that's the selection that I think will make the most impact. Draft selection I hate. I already talked about Ozzie. Most important draft selection to Bears success. Give me, let me break this down, Shamar Turner. I think Shamar Turner, if he can give you that, upside, if he can be somebody that gives you maybe 3-4 sacks in his rookie season, that's going to be huge for the Chicago Bears. Because you think about it, last season, that's the second highest sack total for the Bears last year. You already brought Grady Jarrett into the mix. Dio, you expect those guys to be productive. If you get production out of Shamar Turner and he could be somebody that could rotate defense tackle, nose tackle, rotate all over the defensive line, the versatility is there with this defense line. And I think he could be a big component to our defense being one of the best in the NFL. I think an underrated one is Zay Frazier, too, from UTEP, UTSA.
Yeah, I like him, too.
People are saying he's like Tariq Woolen, corner from Seattle, who's one of the top corners in the league. Just that 6'3" body frame, just that 6'3" size, and he ran a 4.3 in the 40-yard dash.
Yep.
And he had 6 interceptions last year, 15 pass breakups. This is a guy that makes turnover. This is a guy that, can create turnovers. No, this is a guy that can force turnovers, give the ball back to the offense. And Al Harris, that's somebody that specializes in that. We see players like Trevion Diggs lead the NFL in interceptions. Deron Bland lead the NFL in interceptions. So he's going to bring that. We could look at him as our outside corner opposite Jalen Johnson. And that's something we're for years to come, we have an elite secondary. Kyler Gordon roaming around at the star position, at the nickel position. Tyreek Stevenson, Terrell Smith, those guys are, rotating in. I like that a lot.
Me too. Yeah, I think he's I really like that pick, and I think across the board, there wasn't a player I didn't like. I mean, Luke Neiman, still got to learn a little bit more about him, but I like the fact that, he's played every single position and went up and played at Michigan State pretty well. So,
yeah, the Rutgers running back, I think he could surprise some people too. I could see him having a good camp.
There wasn't any Roshan Johnsons this draft or Velus Jones.
I think it just helped us not having a 3rd-round pick. I think we were able to not have one of those like Tyler Scott too in the 3rd round.
Tyler Scott's another one. Kyron Amagic, nigga trash. Just trash. I'm gonna clip that. 3rd round pick too.
I'm gonna clip that.
We just pose. He really falls in love with the character.
Oh yeah. But sometimes you need a Mike Green. You need somebody with some shit on there.
And that's what Ben Johnson's came in to do.
You need
we
to
playing football. This is war.
You need some longest yard soldiers.
Yeah, you need some niggas with a screw that's not loose, but it's hanging on by a thread.
Oh, yeah. And I think, obviously, organizations like Baltimore and Philadelphia can take chances on guys that, don't have the cleanest, record, have some allegations. Jalen Carter coming out of college, that he was dealing with the whole, case. There's a lot of stuff about him. People are calling him a murderer and shit.
Damn.
You didn't know about that? Like it was in a car accident that like killed somebody. That's why nobody. So that's why nobody took. That's why maybe Poles didn't take him. But Jalen Carter is one of the best defensive players in the NFL. He's going to be paid handsomely.
He'll be the highest paid D tackle.
Damn near. You look at his impact.
What he did in that playoff run, I mean,
the Super Bowl
speaks for itself.
Chiefs could not do shit.
No.
They could not do shit. And he's doing this shit to Creed Humphrey.
Mm-hmm.
The best center in the NFL, damn near.
No, he was fucking him up. And the right left tackle or left guard.
Trey Smith?
Yeah, Trey Smith. He was fucking him up.
That's somebody who was glazing too.
Yep. We wanted him back.
By any means.
Like the Chiefs were just gonna let him go and shit.
So one interesting thing I wanted to ask you. You get Luther Burden comp to,
Cut
DJ
Tyler
Moore.
Scott.
Okay, 100%. But you get Luther Burden. People said, like I said, there's comparisons for him to DJ Moore. Cole Kmet now has Colston Loveland in the tight end room. Could you potentially see the Bears moving on from those two guys? Or do you think they could be complementary pieces to each other that could stay? Or do you think they could be complementary pieces to each other and they could stay within this Bears offense and fit together? Or do you think those are guys who are going to move on?
Which two players?
DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. Could those be guys on the hot seat potentially with Luther Burden coming into the mix and Colston Loveland?
I don't think so.
I mean,
because you just restructured
they're locked down for
DJ
a while.
And Cole. You just signed last offseason, so I don't think so. I think those are foundational pieces. Now, if you ask me that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, it could change. But
when DJ Moore turns 30,
future,
yeah, probably.
The most recent future, I would say they're here to stay.
Let me see. I had this picture that says all the players that are going to be on the Bears until 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Notable players under contract through 2027 or later. Caleb Williams, Jalen Johnson, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Montez Sweat, Jonah Jackson, Cole Kmet, Dio Adengbo, Grady Jarrett, Drew Dahlman, Darnell Wright, Kyler Gordon, Luther Burden to the mix, Loveland to the mix, and everybody we drafted in this draft class. So the Bears are set; they're stacked. So when it's time to play Caleb, when it's time to pay Caleb Williams, maybe we do move on from a DJ Moore. Maybe we do move on from, maybe Cole Kmet. He's a Chicago guy. He might stay around, depending on how he does. Might transition to being a tight end too, while Loveland's that more productive tight end. Who knows? But I think the more weapons you have, the better. Last year, we couldn't say that. But this year, I think with a great offensive mind, this year with, Caleb Williams taking that next step ascending with, Ben Johnson teaching him things, helping him grow as a quarterback. I think, Burden and DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, all these weapons are going to have big years. Loveland and Cole Kmet will be like a Gronk and Aaron Hernandez type duo, I think, because you have that bruising tight end. That guy that's going to, force missed tackles, that's going to bruise his way, get first downs, be a red zone threat. While you have Loveland, who's more of that Aaron Hernandez, that, finesse tight end that, makes yards after the catch. Great catch radius, too. Still is a bruiser in his own sense. I think those two complement each other really well. So I'm excited. I think offensively, we're going to be really nice.
Yeah, I think we're a running back away from being a top 5 offense.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And I think good running backs are in the draft every year.
Yeah, much. I agree.
So we should be fine with that. After people are saying Caleb Williams is under immense pressure. What are your thoughts on this to succeed this season? Now he has all the weapons.
They just running out of shit to talk about because no shit. Yeah, we're locked and loaded.
Yeah, what's the excuse now? You got good coaches. You got a good coaching staff. So I think Caleb Williams is built with the right stuff. I think there isn't going to be no pressure on him. He's going to succeed.
You want pressure. Is there any pressure on the fucking Browns? No. Or the Titans? No.
No.
So what are we talking about? You want pressure.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be a big year for Caleb. I think he's going to bounce back. I think another hot take, he's going to be in MVP talks.
Hey.
I think he's going to have a dominant season.
We've been kind of off with those narratives.
Who did I say was going to be MVP last year? I got to think. I think I said Lamar. I usually say Lamar for that. You a couple seasons have been on the Trevor Lawrence bandwagon.
Oh yeah, that's a bad one.
But you look at the success. You look at the success and the growth in Trevor Lawrence's. You look at the success and the growth in Jared Goff's career with Ben Johnson. Top 5 offense every year consistently, and I think Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. Just he's been
higher
ceiling, of course, more athletic, more ability. I think he brings more to the table with tools and intangibles. I think now with Ben Johnson, he's going to reach that, and he's going to have a really good season, a 4,000-yard passing season. So MVP, they change it every year to fit their narratives and fit who's going to, Josh Allen, I didn't think he should have won MVP.
Yeah, they did Lamar dirty, but it's that LeBron effect where it's like
we don't want to see you win
can't
too much.
Always win. He could win every year.
Yeah, exactly. He's the MVP every year. So I think there would be a lot to say about Caleb Williams having a 4,000-yard passing season. He takes the Bears to the playoffs, and he has 30 touchdowns. He had low interception ratio last season. So if he continues
3,500 yards, he could easily throw for 4,500.
Yeah, if he
with this offense
throws 4,500 with this offense and takes the Bears to the playoffs,
and we didn't take a running back, so
I think he could be MVP. And he has at least what do he have three? I think he had less than 500 yards rushing. He add 500 yards rushing to the mix, which I think he could do.
500. He really don't run like I'd like him to. He's more athletic than he wants to be.
Yeah,
in running situations.
I think he could. He's the type of quarterback that could be a 500-yard rusher every year, like clockwork, like how Russ used to do, bro. He's athletic. He's mobile, bro. So I think add that 4,500 yards, 4,500-yard passing season. With the weapons, it's possible. With Ben Johnson, it's possible. With the offense line, it's possible. When we gave him time, when he had time to throw, he's slicing and dicing motherfuckers. So give him as one. He's one of my MVP candidates this year.
68 sacks is crazy.
I don't think he gets sacked 68 times. I think we're looking more at. I'm gonna take the under 35. Under 35.
I feel like it's still a lot too.
I'm going under 35. Because obviously it's going to take some time for this offense line to gel together. There's going to be some games where he's getting sacked maybe 4 times. You know what I mean? Earlier on. But he's going to be pretty clean when it matters most come playoff time, come that last stretch. So Caleb Williams, MVP season loading up. Most improved player too. He's going to be in that competition. So I expect to see a big year out of him. After this draft, where do you rank things with the NFC North?
That's a good question.
Because I don't think the Packers got that much better.
And I didn't study everybody's draft picks.
The Packers, they took a wide receiver.
The Packers are going to take a step back.
I think I've been saying this. I think they're going to be the worst team in this division.
Damn.
I think they're going to be the 4th best team.
I think Detroit has to take a step back just because we got their secret weapon.
I don't think they had a good draft class.
Coordinators.
I didn't think they had a good draft class.
They didn't need to. In the Vikings, we're going to see what J.J. McCarthy has to offer.
I think he's going to be good. And that's coming from Bears fan.
There's still going to be some growing pains, though.
Oh, yeah. But I think he's somebody that's going to, thrive in a system that has Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to. Kevin O'Connell's a quarterback whisperer. He gets the most out of anybody who's in the building with him. So I think Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson's going to be back healthy. They added some other weapons too. Aaron Jones out the backfield, still a really good receiving threat. Aaron Jones is still a good receiving threat. So I think, J.J. McCarthy, I think the Vikings will be the 3rd best team in the NFC North. Lions 2nd, Bears 1st.
I think so you got us winning the division.
After this draft class, yes. I think we see a huge impact. With Dennis Allen as our defensive coach too, defensive coordinator, I think this is going to be a big year for the Bears. And this draft class kind of helped me, getting Loveland, getting Burden. This is going to be a top 5 offense in the NFL. I'm excited.
Me too. Let's see what Swift has to offer. What's his numbers looking like this year, you think?
I think he touches 1,200. I think he touches 1,200, yeah.
1,200?
I think he gets 1,200 behind this offensive line. And then Roshan, and then Kyle Managi. I think that's how you pronounce it. The Rutgers running back is going to have a couple 100 yards rushing, a couple TDs. Him and Roshan will take turns. You know, one thing, the Ozzie Trapillo, the tackle, he played tight end in high school. He could be somebody that, you know, catches a couple touchdowns this year.
I got to see it first.
Me too. So, any hot takes for the Bears before we head out?
Man, hot take. I think we signed Nick Chubb.
You going for the Chubb, huh?
Pause.
I wouldn't mind it. How many yards does Nick Chubb have for the Bears if we sign him? Dude, him and Swift.
Him and Swift reunion.
They were nice at Georgia, bro. Remember those games? Dude, they went fucking stupid. I really liked that Georgia football team.
Me too.
Who else was in that backfield? I feel like somebody else was in that backfield.
They had a whip.
No, they did.
That was him. What was the guy who used to play for LA? Tyler, not Tyler.
Todd Gurley?
Todd Gurley, there we go. Todd Gurley.
Nick Chubb would
DeAndre Swift, Nick Chubb, and there was another guy that they had that went to the league. That was nice.
I forget. But no, I Nick Chubb to the Bears, I would be happy about that. That's a signing I wouldn't mind and get behind, because you think about adding the right guys, the right character guys. That's a character guy. That's a leader. That's somebody, you know, whether he does it vocally
Chubb,
or leads by example, he's one of those ones. No Sean Marino. So yeah, Nick
Thomas
Chubb.
Brown's on the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I think so. No, he played for him, I think. It's a pass game.
Oh,
he's with the Patriots.
Patriots, yeah.
So yeah, Nick Chubb to the Chicago Bears. Check it out. I would love that move 100%. One hot take I have for the Bears. I've been saying a lot, but the Bears signed a veteran pass rusher. I'm gonna go Matthew Judon. I think the Bears go Matthew Judon. I think him coming in.
Trash, bro.
Yeah, as a fourth or fifth best pass rusher, I think he could be productive for us. And that's really all we need. He's good against the run, too. We don't need him to have like 15 and a half sacks, but if he could give us 5 or 4, I'm okay with that. So that's what I got for hot takes. You closed it out with your hot takes. That's all we got for this show. That's us breaking down the NFL draft, free agency, everything that's corresponded so far with the Chicago Bears. If you need more Bears content, you're fiending for Bears content, you're fiending for Bears news, we got you covered. Check us out. Check out Six Man Blitz as well. We give content for NFL, NBA, anything that happens relatively in sports that are interesting. We'll break it down over there. Make sure to check us out on that channel. Follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that. Same thing for for Chi-Town Blitz. Thank you guys for watching. As always, peace. But I would want him to get an extension done with, Keenan Allen. I would want him to stay with the Chicago Bears for maybe 2 or 3 more years, because he's coming off his best season last year with the Chargers.